We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180, 1230 KGEO, and 1410 KERI.
Jeremy, you talked about wanting to work with kids and doing sports camps for kids, which I think is a great idea and something we need in this community. But there is a group already out there called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Have you ever thought about working with them, or do you work with them?
Absolutely. We'd love to work with them. That's one thing about us is we're not going to be a foundation. We're going to work with all foundations out there. We're not going to be ones to say, no, we can't work with you because you're taking money out of our away from our foundation. That's not what it's all about. The thing about this is that it's all about the youth. It's all about our veterans and taking care of people in our community. And so we're going to work with as many different foundations that will allow us to work with them. We want to be extremely active in our community, and we'd love to work with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
So you'll work with schools, as you already do work with schools, and you'll work with those athletes, but you also work with non-athletes, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Clay will take and work with you anytime, man. We'd love to work with you.
Well, there is a law of diminishing returns here. So.
That was a good one. I'll give you credit on that one.
I appreciate it. Thank you. But the thing about it is that it's all about inspiring and motivating people. We had one lady who came in who was a woman who was a little was a large woman, and she came in and bought a jersey, and you could tell it was hard for her to say, I need the largest jersey you have. But we gave her a cycling jersey, and along the ride we found out that, why in our absence while we were out on the road, she was actually training and going out and riding, and that she had completed her first 20-mile bicycle ride. And I said, man, that's motivation. It gives me goosebumps right now, but that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. We want to hear stories like that. So, if anybody out there has been motivated by our story or are motivated by the things that we do, we want to hear about that stuff, because that's the stuff that keeps me going.
Well, I have a motivational story for you here. Clay walked to his car.
Whoa. Wow.
Actually, I played golf on the weekend, too.
Wow. Didn't hurt himself this time.
No.
Wow. So, as far as donations, I know you guys raised quite a bit of money, but did you raise enough to cover the trip?
The big thing we haven't, a lot of the stuff, equipment was so expensive, even though that we were given, at cost and stuff like that. But to go 100 days, to have 2 riders out there, a crew of 8, we made it well under what we budgeted, but we're still about $12,000 in the hole, just because gas prices and that kind of thing. We had to pay for a couple more hotel rooms than we had planned to, but out of our budget, we still operated at about a third of our budget and still completed the mission. But we just need a little bit more to get over that hump. But I know that we'll overcome that.
So if anybody wants to make a donation, where would
absolutely, they can go to the Jeremy Staat Foundation website. It's just jeremystaat.com. Also, they can call the foundation at 661-330-1411. And we've also got Facebook pages as well. You can go to the Wall to Wall Cross Country Bicycle Ride webpage as well, and make a donation through PayPal as well.
And Wesley, I'm glad you're not here, because this way it's nice having Jeremy and I gang up on Clay for a change. So.
Yeah, we'll get back to him, Wesley. Hey, by the way, when you spell Staat, it's S-T-A-A-T.
Yes, it's not Scott.
Right.
Staat, S-T-A-A-T.
Right. So how many miles did you go? You went how many now?
Actually, my total miles was 3,468 miles. 3,468 miles in 100 days. I had 15 flats, and basically, from a gear aspect or any cyclists out there, I'd burn through a chain about every 1,000 miles. Wow. I'd burn through a cassette about every 1,200 miles. Went through 3 back tires, and that was only because one tire actually got sliced by some glass. But other than that, really I only went through two back tires, 2 drive tires.
And when are you going to do this again?
Ram 2013. We're going to be putting 2 teams together, so it's going to be 2,900 miles in under 6 days.
And when are you guys going to do that?
June 2013.
June of next year.
Yep. So we're going to start raising funds, and for that race, both teams will be riding for the Jeremy Staat Foundation, and it's huge. Just an entry fee for the Ram is $14,000
per team.
Per team.
Wow. So you need $28,000 just to get in.
Just to get in.
And where does that money go?
That's going to go for the entry fee. That's going to go towards whatever the Ram puts on. That's just probably all the insurance for all the riders.
And what does that? What does RAM stand for?
Race Across America.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duh.
What was the toughest? Open the can, pour the sauce. I'm helping. What was it?
Stephen, we don't need you to jump in here anytime.
What was the toughest part of the ride for you? For you and Wesley?
Well, the hardest part was when Wesley went down. And basically I was out there, riding by myself. I had about 2,000 miles where I was out there on the road by myself, and you know, at one point, I forgot what day it was, but you know, I had real bad anxiety and basically I couldn't get back on the road just from the amount of cars. You know, every time you hear a semi truck downshift, and you hear, you know, it kind of, your heart starts to race, or my heart started racing. So I got real bad anxiety and panic attack basically. And so you know, to push through that was tough. That was about day 89, I think it was.
Wow.
You weren't on the main roads all the time either, right?
No, not all the time, but you know, being on the main roads were actually kind of the safest roads. I mean, believe it or not, being on the 40 on the shoulder was the safest spot. You know, we got in some of the back roads, especially down in Georgia, North Carolina, where we only had a two-lane road, and there was on a lot of shoulder, and so you'd get people backed up. And like I said, especially when you hear those semi trucks downshift, engine brake on you, it gets real scary at times.
Sure. Our in-studio guest, just back from the wall-to-wall bike ride, Jeremy Staat.
So you went to Georgia, South Carolina. You really went a roundabout way to get to Washington, D.C.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. As the crow flies, it's only 2,600 miles from Bakersfield to Kern County, but as we did it, it was it actually was 4,100 miles because we kind of zigzagged. And that was the only way we could actually go to all the different military bases and installations and VA hospitals was a zigzag, because if we went straight down the 40, we would have missed a lot of those places.
Mm-hmm. I've had a question for you as far as health. Did you feel any, like, I know if I do an extended ride, my neck kills me.
No, you know, the thing about it is that, you know, Kerry Ryan and Sam Amos down at Action Sports, I mean, they did a heck of a job.
Best.
Oh, they got me, you know, fitted. Believe it or not, you know, I didn't have any saddle sore, no blisters, no soreness except for just from the effort. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my legs were sore towards the end there. They were sore every single day. I just couldn't get enough rest to get the lactic acid out of there. But, you know, like I said, they did an awesome job of getting me measured on there. And a lot of people, there's a big misconception. People think because you're on that little bitty seat that, you know, it's going to hurt. It's this. But if you get properly fitted, I mean, it's actually no discomfort at all.
You know, eliminating Tehachapi from the ride, what was the next best event?
Oh, gosh. I mean, Mount Eagle, Tennessee was awesome. Jackson, Tennessee was great. Pulling into Albuquerque, New Mexico was awesome, even though we rode through a freaking, you know, 50-mile-an-hour sustained crosswind in a dust storm. But that was awesome. God, there were so many of the little towns that just really took care of us. We found out that, you know, America really isn't in the big cities. It's in the little towns across America, because those are the ones that showed up. It was awesome. It was amazing, and so there were some great places.
Did you visit some of the veterans themselves at the hospital?
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the great things, or one of the memories that will always stand out in my mind, is that we were in Boulder City, Nevada, and we went to a veterans home there in Boulder City, and we were there. We had scheduled a root beer float party, and so we get there, and there's probably about 35 to 40 veterans, ranging anywhere from World War II all the way up to to Vietnam there. And you know, we pull in there, and these guys are crying, men and women, they're crying because we took a little bit of time out of our day to come say hello. And this one gentleman was a Vietnam veteran. He was a single amputee. I don't believe from the war. I think it was from diabetes. But you know, he was sitting there crying, and he said that, you know, just us showing up was the best thing that had happened to him in 7 years.
Wow.
So, you know, it goes to show that, you know, a lot of our veterans, especially our older veterans, you know, a lot of these guys are just in these veterans homes waiting to die.
Yeah.
And they have no family, or nobody comes and visits them. You know, I had a 92-year-old veteran in Oklahoma City, basically real soft-spoken, an older gentleman, about 92, and he basically, I don't know if he confessed everything to me, but, you know, at the very end, he just said, you know, I've had a good life, I'm ready to go home. And it was like, wow.
Well, we have a great program here in Kern County called Honor Flight that honors those veterans as well. And I think you caught up with the guys from Honor Flight back in Washington, D.C. When you arrived in Washington, they happened to be there at the same time.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing to see those guys. 22 World War II veterans came in there. And I tell you what, it was amazing to see these older gentlemen. They're on the bus, because they'd always call roll call just to make sure that they were there, so we didn't lose anybody at any of the memorials. But these guys were just having a good old time. It was like they're 21 again. You know, they're calling the roll, here, yo, what up? You know, and that's how they're talking, these old men. It was awesome to see this, but at the same time, it was kind of sad to see that, you know, that especially our World War II veterans, you know, these guys basically changed the world.
Yes,
I mean,
they
for
did.
what they did, they lost over
Yep.
400,000 Americans in that war, and they actually changed the war. And it took us all the way up until 10 years ago to build them a World War II memorial.
You know, we were there when they arrived in Bakersfield. It was amazing, the crowd. There had to be a couple hundred people there.
Oh, at
easily.
least. And you know, they're doing another one. They're going to charter a plane and take probably 150 people with them.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Jeremy, we've got about a minute left. So, again, give your foundation number.
Foundation number 661-330-1411, and the website is the Jeremy Stott Foundation.
Okay, and Jeremy, just, you know, I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you coming on, and we appreciate what you do, and thank you so much for not only your service, but you know, everything you're trying to do, not only for veterans but for the community, to keep Bakersfield in the limelight, and it's been great.
And I do appreciate you Marines cleaning up after us.
Yeah, no worries. We'll bail you guys out any time you need us to. That's what we've been doing.
That was a comment the general made. Was
I know the general made that.
Yeah, he just come out. He just how he was waiting for that. He just came out of nowhere with that one.
He's been holding back with that one. Okay, we'll be back in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.